What's up, guys? UFC 319 was last night. Wanted to give you my thoughts on the card. Gonna break down the main event. Amazing card, amazing card. The first fight was Tim Elliott. I don't even know how to say the other guy's name, but good fight. Back and forth. Tim Elliott was smart, patient. Weathered a little bit of a storm, and then got the guillotine. Congrats to him, veteran, been beating up and coming guys for a long time now. So props to him for being able to make it work and over. You know, he was clearly brought in to lose there and did a great job. So props to him. Next up is the MVP versus Cannonier fight. Michael Venom-Page looked great. On the feet, obviously got taken down in that third round and lost the third round, but was able to win the first two rounds. Very impressive because it's crazy because his offense is really, it's not that it's limited. The dude has a lot of offensive options, but he only uses the same couple moves. I mean, this dude basically threw a jab and a reverse punch, hands down, bladed stance, a lot of up jabs, a lot of reverse punches from the hip, blitzes, basic stuff, constant switching of stances. If you watch when he turns southpaw, there's no offense really. Every now and then he'll throw a kick from the southpaw stance, but I mean, this dude makes the fight look so exciting and moving around, doing all this, what people think is risky stuff, but really all he's doing is like 3 or 4 moves. It's not like he's using a big variety of offense. He's just doing the same stuff from different angles and moving around, switching stances, constant feints. A real point style fighter that knows how to use Olympic point style karate and a full contact, and very impressive, and props to him as well. Next up was I don't know how to say this guy's last name, Carlos Prates versus Jeff Neal. Good competitive fight, and then the crazy spinning elbow, the buzzer beater. It was the last. It was the first round. 1 second left in the first round. Caught him with the spinning elbow, and big knockout. Hopefully Jeff Neal's okay, and congrats to Carlos. That was a great performance, and against a very tough opponent that's never happened to, so props to him. Next up was Leron Murray and Aaron Pico. Aaron Pico was an up-and-coming prospect from other organizations, from Bellator, from PFL. Very high-level wrestler that transitioned to MMA, and has had some good success, and also had some big losses. He came in, aggressive and wild, and got caught with another spinning elbow, which is crazy. I don't know if I think the commentator said last night that there hasn't been 2 fights on the same card, or 2 fights in a row, but maybe even 2 fights on the same card that have ever both ended in a spinning elbow the way they did last night, back to back. So crazy win for Leron Murray, and great performance on his part as well. Next up was the Chimaev versus Drakus fights, and crazy control, high level wrestling, high level everything, high level cardio, high level shooting, high level switching stances. This fight last night, the main event, was a really good lesson for up and coming fighters, and especially guys who are, let's say you're a striker, even more so for strikers who basically there's a lot of strikers in MMA that are really good strikers, and they basically only do jiu-jitsu or wrestling just enough to survive in the fights and be able to keep it on the feet, which obviously can be a good idea, and can be a good game plan should you get good enough at takedown defense and getting up using the cage or sweeps or something like that. But guys, it doesn't matter if you're a striker, and obviously Chimaev is like levels above everybody. He's one of the greatest control people we've ever seen in MMA, him and Khabib. And basically, when he gets people down, they can't get up. I mean, it's crazy how he was able to do that for 5 rounds in a world title fight against a guy no one's ever been able to do that against. So the lesson here would be for the young guys coming up: if you hate drilling jiu-jitsu, you hate drilling wrestling, understand this. It doesn't matter how hard you fight. It doesn't matter that you have a better gas tank. It doesn't matter that you're willing to fight till you're unconscious. You're willing to fight as hard or harder than anybody. That doesn't matter. If you don't know the technique and you haven't drilled the technique thousands of times to escape some of these positions, it doesn't matter how much fight you have in you or how tough you are, how good your gas tank is, how much heart you have to never give up. It doesn't matter. If you don't know the position, you're not getting up. And obviously Chimaev is like I said, he's like up here level of greatness with ground control. But that same principle applies to the two blue belts fighting against each other. Or if maybe you're a blue belt in jiu-jitsu and you're fighting a brown belt in MMA and you get taken down and you don't know how to get out of these positions and you haven't drilled these techniques thousands of reps, it doesn't matter how tough you are. You can't just tough your way out of positions. You have to know the technique. This is why technique is always king. And I see this a lot with the Russians and especially the Russians. They basically have like if you see the difference, like Aaron Pico got a takedown in the fight before this and wasn't able to control the guy on the ground. The Russian guys, the Dagestanians, and now Chimaev, who's from Chechnya, I think, they basically have a high level wrestling background, just like you find most high level college wrestlers here in America even. I mean, obviously different takedowns and different setups, but as a whole, they have the high level wrestling, but they also have the black belt level control. And that's something you don't see a lot in the American wrestlers, unfortunately, whether that's Michael Chandler in the past, whether that's Johnny Hendricks when he was coming up, whether that is Usman. Some of these American style wrestlers, their takedowns are phenomenal. They can get them. They don't have the black belt level control that maybe a black belt in jiu-jitsu does. But the Russians seem to have both. They seem to have both through Sambo, through their training, whatever they're doing from a young age and coming up, they're developing takedown ability at a high level, but also ground control at a high level. And it's very impressive to see, guys. So props to Chimaev. I'm excited to see who he gets next. That was my thoughts on the card. If you're new to martial arts and you're looking for a gym in your area, get my book, The Ultimate Guide to Choosing a Martial Arts School and Instructor. Link is in the description. And if you got any other questions or any other subjects you'd like me to break down, just leave a comment below. Thank you, guys.